Hi, it's Planetary Calendar again. This time we're doing the month of July 2026. And of course, we're Ralph and Lahni DeAmicis.
Yes.
I want to go back to June for just a quick second. I got an inquiry about June the 20th. And if someone has a question, I bet more people have the same question. So that day we wrote no aspects today. We didn't space it. We wanted to write that in there because there were no aspects for us to publish on that date. And we wanted to make sure that you didn't think that we left something out or we forgot about it. But the question was, I have things to do. Like, what planets can I rely on? What's going on? Isn't there, you mean the planets are like on vacation? And I said, no, understand that planetary aspects last for a period of hours, even a period of days, sometimes longer than that.
Weeks.
And so we only can put them on the calendar when they're exact. If we plotted a day for every day that aspect was active, there'd be no room for anything else.
It'd be black.
So we wanted point out that we didn't make a mistake. We didn't forget something. But considering the orb of the planet, is it a close planet? Is it a personal planet? Is it the moon? These aspects are short-lived. Whereas if you have an aspect to the outer planets, it's going to be longer. So look at the day before and the day after, which you should do for any of the dates that are important to you on the calendar anyway, just to find out what lingering effect or what you're building up to in terms of a planetary aspect when you're making your plans for that day. So that's my first thing.
Okay.
And if you're on social media, and who isn't,
Right.
You're seeing a lot of things about the planetary lineups. And we've had a number of these so far already this year. And it's a very interesting dynamic. And I won't go into all the interpretations of that. Ralph might have something to say about that when I get done here. But what I want to point out to you is that you're going to see these on the calendar. If you have the calendar for July, pay particular attention to July 1st, July 6th, the 10th, the 14th, the 24th, and the 29th. And the reason I say pay attention to them, you're going to see a whole string of planetary glyphs above the number, meaning all of those planets are making aspects to the moon on that day. Meanwhile, they're all making planetary aspects to each other as well. And so you're going to see that flow. Those days, it'll be kind of more personalized because the moon is involved for you. So if you want to know how to navigate this historic lineup of planets, you can see that there's a little bit of help for you here on the calendar.
You know, one of the things that's going on is that because we include Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, that no one knew about them before the 1700s, right now, all three of those are in the early signs of either air or fire signs. So there's a lot of cooperation going on between them. So this is where you get the sense of global cooperation. There's a lot of treaties being made globally that people aren't personally experiencing, but there's a lot happening there. And then right at the end of June, Jupiter entered Leo, another fire sign. So now it's trine to Saturn, right? It is opposite Pluto, and it is sextile to Uranus. So once again, you have all these dynamics going on. The fact that it's opposite Pluto is kind of interesting, but it's also whenever Jupiter changes sign, it's always a big thing because Jupiter's the biggest planet. You know, you have to pay attention to the big guy.
Well, it's the favorite planet of people who are looking for luck and optimism, and
Yes.
in these times, who blames you?
Exactly.
You know?
So that's what's going on in terms of the calendar. Oh, there's one more thing going on in terms of the calendar. Ta-da! This is the 2027 Planetary Astrologer Calendar Day Planner. Wall size, we have the original, and we have also the pocket, and we have the digital. We're very pleased with this one. We did a complete redesign of the pocket and the day planner to incorporate more into the pocket and to simplify the day planner in certain ways. I'm very pleased with that because I'm the designer of that. Though, of course, I cooperate with Lahni. And we love having Jupiter, speaking of Jupiter, on the cover, looking magnificent
Exactly.
with his blue hat there.
And I think
So-
you're going to like the idea that a lot of the features of the day planner are now incorporated in the pocket.
pocket.
In fact, they're virtually identical except for size. And so we had to adjust the size a little bit to do that,
Yep.
increase the amount of pages in the pocket to
Right.
allow for all the features that are in the day planner. But you're really going to get a lot of bang for your buck from the pocket.
Yes, and it makes my life a little easier because now there's much less chance of making mistakes, and that's a big factor. Is how can we reduce making mistakes? Because there's thousands of data points in these calendars, thousands. There's so much more data and interpretation than in any other calendar. So it's very easy when you have lots of different formats to make a mistake, and we really like to avoid that. So we're going to get on to a forecast now.
We are.
Oh, good.
And we're going to look at some of the highlights as we go along. You'll see that the forecast part of the calendar only has about 10 items to highlight this month. So I think that we have covered some of the big features with what we talked about, the planetary lineup and things like that. So there's less to point out individually.
Which leads into this because there's so many planets at the early signs of either Mars-ruled or Mercury-ruled signs, even the Sun and Saturn signs, there's a lot of void of courses that happen. I think, what did you say? There's like 10 void of courses or 8 void of courses. 8 void of courses this month. It's right here in the text, 8.
7. I
And
got
it's-
7. Did I
it's-
lose one? One,
There's
2,
supposedly 8. That's what we
5,
wrote.
6, 7.
And I believe what we wrote.
8.
8 void of courses.
We're right.
And these are extra long void of courses, not just your typical 3-4 hours. These are
Right.
the long ones that we put a
Right.
little square around the date specifically to say, hey, pay attention, because this day could really go off course if you don't have a list or a real serious plan. Void of courses are not bad. They're just wobbly.
Unless you need to get something done.
Well, you can get a lot done.
You
on the
can
void
get
of
off
course.
track.
Yes.
So lists are important, and, planning out your day and allowing a little bit of a fudge factor and timing of things. There are tricks and ways to make those void of courses work for you, because it also gives you a chance to have a little pause and think it over again. Like, oh, I know I reviewed this, but maybe I should just check it one more time, kind of a thing, because that void, of course, draws your attention to that. And in addition to those voids, we also have 2 black boxes. So those
2 white
2
circles.
white circles are working very hard to make that month of July a
Yes.
little bit more palatable. But there's a lot going on.
But it's also realized that just at the very end of June, Mercury went retrograde, right? And Jupiter changed sign into Leo. So anyone with strong Leo in their chart, they're going to feel this. You're going to really feel this in your chart. But also Mercury going retrograde, it also means, okay, it's time to go back and deal with things that you tracked over last time and you said, oh, I'll take care of that later. This is later. Okay, this is later. This is when you do it.
That's what the voids can help you do.
Exactly, and it's going to turn direct on the 23rd. So you've got that first 3 weeks to get back to, oh, right, that. Okay, so that's what's going on. And let's see, it's going to turn direct on the 23rd. And it stays within the sign of the Crab, Cancer, the entire time. It's not going to change signs during that time.
So it starts out the month starts out with Mercury at 26 degrees Cancer, and it turns direct at 16 degrees Cancer. So if you have those points in your chart,
Yes.
they might get a actual extra zinger
Now,
from Mercury.
The first asterisk we put in is actually on the 5th. It's that coming Sunday. It's because there's a sun trine moon, always a lovely position. It's the Pisces moon, the dolphins, and it's Mars trine Pluto. So it's just and then you have just a nice Mercury, that Mercury in the sign of the Crab is trining the dolphins, the moon in the sign of the dolphin. So it's a very good, homey, dreamy, kind of romantic day. Don't spend it doing chores. Spend it enjoying with people you enjoy.
Well, it's a Sunday, so it's kind of a family, talk about family history,
Friends.
talk to your the patriarch or the matriarch, and make sure you have that history together. It's Pisces revisiting the wisdom of the ages kind of a thing. It should be a very nice day.
Which will prepare you for the Monday, because on the Monday there's tons of aspects to the moon, which means lots going on personally, but also there's the sun square Saturn. It's a very good time to do things, to accomplish things. Now remember, by the time we get to August, people start relaxing, but this is still a time of year when you can really move things around. You can manage resources very effectively this time of year. And that sun Saturn square will really help you do that.
And the 7th has a black box mainly because of the fact that Neptune goes retrograde. That's not felt so strongly on a personal level because it's a generational planet. But you'll see that some of your inspiration and ideas will turn inward a little bit, need a little bit more review, a little bit more time to sort of churn it around in the grinder, so to speak.
Yeah, and globally, there may be some backsliding in terms of global cooperation going on as well. Also, the other thing that's going on is you have the moon square Saturn. Moon
sun square moon.
Sun square moon. But this is the sun square moon on the way to the new moon. The new moon is going to be on the 14th. The full moon is going to be on the 29th. So this is when the moon is the energy is winding down. So be aware of that at the same time. But once again, you can get, it's a good time to get things done, wrap some things up.
Well, and it's going to be a busy month. We've got a sign change on the 9th. Venus enters Virgo.
Yes.
Which again is the get her done sign. So this is a working July. This is not, July go down to the beach. It's a working accomplish things kind of a month.
When Venus goes into Virgo, if you know about the 7 love languages, I think the love language that says love as service, that's Mercury in Virgo, or Venus in Virgo, because it's really about people with Venus in Virgo are very concerned with taking care of others, and when they feel like they do things for other people, like they empty the dishwasher, this is an expression of love for the people around them, which is really very, very prosaic.
We always have a lot of laundering and dishwashering going on in our house because we have so much Virgo in our chart.
So much love. Yeah, so much love.
Bed making, washing sheets. I mean, it's like, I love you, so I wash your sheets.
There you go.
Right.
Exactly. So if you have any place you have Virgo in your chart, the goddess, the sign of the goddess of the harvest, remember Venus is going to be traveling there. So all you people, all you children of the goddess out there, you're going to be feeling especially charming, especially loved and loving for the next, until Venus changes sign.
Or until the 13th, because
What?
The black box on the 13th,
What?
The note says, be careful to steer clear of arguments with those you care about.
That's true.
Mercury conjunct the moon can split the emotional beans, spill the emotional beans. Sorry about that. Split the beans. That's not even a thing. And the quirky combo of Venus and Uranus means anything goes. So watch your tongue.
Yes.
Mercury, after all, is retrograde. So use that time to think and rethink before it pops out of your mouth.
You know that thing that mothers always do with kids, or sometimes they do with husbands, where they go and they say, what size? And they reach behind you, they hold your label up behind your neck, right? And they're just looking for the person who it's being done to. It's amazingly
Being
uncomfortable.
erotic.
Yes, that's that Mercury conjunct the moon and the sign of the crab. That's it right there. Just so you know.
And let me talk about Bastille Day.
Yes.
It has particular personal significance for me, but everybody can get behind Bastille Day as a concept. But we have the new moon at 21 degrees of Cancer.
Yes.
And so again, we're hitting all these points in Cancer. So the Cancerians are really going to have fun with July.
What do we actually say? We say stuff about it, right?
But we also have the Sun Moon parallel. Yeah. Why don't you read that?
This was really you wrote something very quite poetic here. Are often associated with expectations and new beginnings. Isn't that like the Sabian symbol is a young person awaiting a sailboat, which speaks to this nervous anticipation or playing it safe. Don't miss opportunities through inaction. This is a good time to put your relationship on a new footing. That longish void of course should give you some pause to think about it. Very poetic.
I
So
am
you're so good.
poetic and prophetic.
And prophetic, yes. All at the
what
same
I am.
time.
And profound.
There you go. Truly
So
goddess
look
energy.
for that 14th to be a eye-opening day, I think.
Yeah. Watch out for that 16th. There's that long void of course. You see that little square around the 16th and around the date. There's a real
It
long
actually
void of
starts the
course.
day before.
And it's in Leo, which is not the ideal sign for a void of course.
Yeah, Leo wants to go, do,
Exactly.
be, love,
Yeah,
act.
exactly.
Right.
And then the next thing that comes up is in terms of asterisks is actually the 22nd, but there must be other stuff going on, right?
Well, we've got another lineup over the moon on the 19th, so
Oh, that's true.
look at that for another one of those. And when I say planetary lineup, I say just a glut of planetary activity that hits you emotionally, because these are aspects to the moon, which differentiates them from that lineup ongoing by themselves.
And you're right about that too, because on that same day there's a Mars sextile Saturn. So it's Mars now. Where's Mars in this whole thing? Mars in Gemini, sextile Saturn in Aries. So once again, it's between the two signs of the Mercury Mars planets. These Mercury Mars planets. They're if you ever play chess, Lahni makes fun of me when I talk about this, but it's still fun. If you ever play chess, Mercury and Mars are the pawns. They're the ones that you say, "Oh, just go out there and see what happens. Go carry this message for me. Oh, go check. Go to ask that person what he's doing."
Well, you say to Mercury, go out there and see what happens. To Mars, you say, go out there and make it happen.
Go out and make it happen. Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. The messenger and the actor. So when you have those types of aspects going on, it is a day in which there's a lot of going on. And that Mars is sextiling Saturn in Aries, and it's Saturn, which is with authority.
And just to give my quick little intro to astrology, walk around the zodiac, when you have planets in Aries and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer, they're the early signs of the zodiac. And when I do my little primer, you start out Aries is the baby, and the baby grows up a little bit and gets attached to items, and that's Taurus. And then they find friends or siblings, and that's Gemini. And then they become an actual part of the participant in the family, which is Cancer. And they start from the newborn and go all the way around to the sage old man of the zodiac, Pisces. And so when we have all this activity in the early signs, not even talking about degrees, just the early signs, there's a lot of spit and vinegar, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of wanting to start something new and all kinds of stuff. No, I'm not trying to garrote you.
Okay. I thought you want to see my label.
But, so it's an energetic time is what I'm saying. It's not a contemplative time. It's a do something, learn something, find something kind of an energy that is all the time while we have so much in these early signs.
Exactly. Now, on the 22nd, the sun ingress into Leo. It's funny. I remember we were working on something to do with the instructions, I think. And we just, by the way, in the new calendar, we revamped the instructions. We feel we clarified
Organized them, clarified them.
Right, and expanded them as well.
Please read them and tell us what you think.
Yes, in fact, we've created one audio that's actually us reading them, and including graphics that's on the website. But we're actually going to do a second one because since then we've edited them again and improved them again. So we have to make a new version of it. But it really helps when someone reads them to you because you see all the visuals that go along with it, because there's like 6 major symbols that are used inside the calendar that make it much easier to know what's going on at any given time. But I was using the word ingress in there, and I was trying to think, does everyone know what ingress means? Planetary ingress.
Ingress?
You would hope
Egress.
so. You would hope so, but sometimes you wonder. There's certain words that have fallen out of fashion. So
when they enter is an ingress.
And when you exit.
When they leave, it's an egress. So isn't it an ingress?
Yes.
Because exiting the sign of Cancer and entering the sign.
But how many
of
people,
Leo.
if you asked what an ingress was, they say, "Oh, it's that one with scales, right? The right stripe on their
Don't
back."
get me on an English and grammar and thing like that. You friends who follow me on Facebook or everything know that I'm part of the grammar police. So
Yes,
we could have a whole YouTube channel just on that.
yes. So on the 22nd, the sun's ingress into Leo begins a favorite time of year to relax in the sun and recharge. And this date adds a Scorpio moon, aka the eagle moon, making nice aspects to Venus and Mercury. So don't forget the sunscreen, a natural one, of course, and enjoy the easy pace of the day. So it's a very nice way to begin this season, which, in Europe, people take the entire month of August off, and that's because most of it's in Leo, the time when people get to relax. In fact, August has no other holidays because the whole month is essentially a holiday.
Well, and then we get to the 23rd, where Mercury thankfully goes direct.
Yes,
We couldn't put a
gracias.
white circle on
Yes.
there for a number of reasons. We put a
Asterisk.
frame around the number because there's a long void, of course, and that sort of negates the happiness invoked by the sunshine moon
Yes.
and the Mercury going direct. But it's kind of a mixed bag day. And by the time the moon enters Sagittarius, which is in the evening,
Yes.
it pretends for those aspects to spill over into that nice white box on Friday.
But this is the sunshine moon after the new, on the way to the full. So it's a time of anticipation, a time of growing energy, a time of things are starting to flow well. Mercury, remember when Mercury's turning direct, it's pretty close to station. It's moving pretty slowly. So, ta-da, Mercury's turned direct. Yeah, but it's still kind of puttering along where Mercury likes going fast.
Well, and I want to read the blurb for the 23rd because I mentioned another Sabian symbol. I hope you enjoy the opportunity to get familiar
that
with
up.
some of the Sabian symbols. But Mercury turns direct at 16 degrees of the crab, whose Sabian symbol is the seed grows into knowledge and life.
Yes.
So while communications may have been stalled, give it a few days and it will pick up the pace, employing the wisdom gathered during the retrograde.
Nice. I like that. Very nice. Then the next thing that comes up is the white circle on the 24th. Okay. Is that pretty? Oh, that's very cool. Isn't
It's a
that neat?
very active white circle day.
Yeah, and that's got the nice moon. I love the moon in Sagittarius. Easy communication today facilitated by Venus and Virgo conjunct a newly directed Mercury. But discussions may lean more towards global events than your own backyard. The lineup of mostly retrograde outer planets above the Sagittarius moon provides the global outlook that's fodder for discussion. Oh, yes.
And I don't even mind that there's an opposition to Uranus from the moon in Sagittarius, because if there was a conjunction of the moon in Sagittarius with Uranus, you could fly off
be
the planet.
problematic. Yes,
So
yes.
I like the control that gives over Uranus.
And then on that Saturday, you see a little square around the number. There, it's going to be another long void, of course. But the void, of course, when the moon's in Sag is not as problematic. Typically, when the moon's in the sign of either the crab,
Rulership of Jupiter
or Taurus, the cow, or it's in the rulerships of Jupiter, Pisces, and Sag.
for the moon, right?
Yeah, it usually tends to be less problematic. It's more empowered. The moon in Sagittarius is a very strong position. Okay, and then on the 26th, another black box day, partially because Saturn's going retrograde. The sun is opposite Pluto. The moon is
Which
square
is
to
a
Neptune.
planet. I don't want to hear this.
Yes.
It's not a planet stuff anymore from any of you.
And the only thing that's going on positive is that the
wouldn't do
sun.
that.
No, the sun is positive. Is in parallel to Jupiter, but the parallel doesn't really have any major effect here because there's no other aspects going on between the two of
Right,
them.
right.
If it was, because there's a little bit of there's a little help going on there because these are the two biggest players, and so they're kind of on the same level. But there's with all the other chaos going on, it's a little like parents watching kids play and thinking they could be playing. Is they playing or fighting? I can't tell.
I looked at that moon in Capricorn and squaring the Neptune, I figured, is this going to be a writing weekend for us authors?
Oh, maybe.
It is, because Capricorn, is going to want to codify something, and Neptune square might just give you that look at something from a different angle. Yeah.
Now watch out for that void of course on the 28th, okay, because it's a void of course in the sign of the sea line Capricorn. So it's not a real strong. It's not a real strong. It could really go off course easily. People could.
But let's talk about the full moon on the 29th.
Yes, I think that's a good idea because that one actually has some stuff going on.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
The full moon occurs at 6 degrees Aquarius. So by definition, it means that the sun is at 6 degrees of Leo and is conjunct Jupiter while Venus is square to Mars. Watch for big egos to collide. Tread lightly, especially over political topics. Gemini, Leo, Virgo, and Aquarius. We are talking to you.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful one. This is a pretty powerful one. It's kind of setting off some major fixed stars at the same time, but it's not right on top of them. So,
well, and this is one of those lineup days, and we have the sun conjunct Jupiter, but then we have Venus and Mars squares. So we're talking about, different points of view or arguments, especially, between couples or, and we've got the sun moon, same kind of dynamic with the opposition there. So just tread lightly, just take the day off, chillax, and look at the Delta Aquarids meteor showers in the evening.
Now, if you have either the day planner or you have the digital version, and you also have the charts. So when you look at the charts, especially if you're on the West Coast, you'll notice that this opposition between sun and moon is taking place between the 1st and the 7th houses. So it's like right there in your face, especially on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast or the other parts of the country, it's in different parts of the sky. But you see how close together Jupiter is. They're conjunct at 6 degrees. This is an exact conjunction of the sun and Jupiter. Makes it big. Anytime you add Jupiter to a mix, it gets big. And then at the same time, you have the moon is fairly close, just a couple of degrees away from Pluto. So you have the limits of the solar system from the sun at the center, Pluto at the outer, and Jupiter in the middle. So it's going to be like ringing a bell. So really watch what's happening globally at that time because it's really going to ring some people's bells.
So a final thought, I love the idea that we go from Neptune in 2026. Everybody will be up to here with Neptune by the time 2026 ends, if you're not already. And we head towards Jupiter for 2027. So if you want to see the new calendar, you want to go over the forecast, you want to watch our video, head over to planetarycalendar.com where you can see all those things. And make sure that you like and subscribe to our Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube so you don't miss a thing.
And look for our new books, of course, The Reclaiming Astrology from the Patriarchy will really change your view of astrology, and our newest book, 5 Keys to a Successful Home Office. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot, isn't it? So until next time, be well.
Good stars.